Conservative Party in particular. Argyle and Bute was one of the 11 seats in Scotland which it targeted and which it hoped to win. Now let's just take a look at that result. The Liberal Democrats a good 3,500 votes in front of the Conservatives. The Conservatives only narrowly in front of Labour. As for the SNP, they also had hopes here. Jim Mather, the Holyrood MSP for the area, and Jim Mather's popularity as the MSP not reflected in the Westminster result, with the SNP coming fourth. So much relief for the Liberal Democrats, disappointment for both the Conservatives and the SNP.
Conservatives not making the kind of headway in Scotland that they needed to make. What's the story on the ground there?
That's a very interesting question, Sally. Speaking to some of the Conservatives on the ground here, they're almost mystified because this was a traditional Conservative area. It was held by the Conservatives until 1987, with the exception of the period in the 1970s, between 1974 and 1979, when it went to the SNP. They do wonder about what they can do to win back. Actually, just coming up onto the platform at the moment is the victor, Alan Reid, Liberal Democrat MP, now elected for the third time. He'll be with me in just a moment so we can perhaps grab a word with Mr Reid, who's just stepping onto the podium now. Good afternoon, Mr Reid. You're live on BBC One Scotland, and first of all, congratulations on the results. So you saw off the threat of the Conservatives and the threat of the Scottish National Party here. What do you put it down to? Was it just tactical voting, or is it a positive vote for the Lib Dems?
It's a positive vote for the Liberal Democrats. We've now held this seat for 23 years, and it's quite clear that the people in Argyle and Bute fully appreciate that Liberal Democrat representation is the best representation.
It was a seat which the Conservatives in particular had targeted. Why do you think they failed to make significant progress? Is there still a factor in Argyle and Bute which simply works against the Conservatives?
Yes, the Conservatives were in power before. They were doing nothing for Argyle and Bute. All we saw under Margaret Thatcher was cuts in services. So the Conservatives are never going to be a serious force here in Argyle and Bute.
You say that about the Conservatives, but of course, looking at the results across the whole of the UK now, one possibility is a deal between the Liberal Democrats and the Conservatives. Who would you prefer to work with, the Conservatives or Labour?
It all depends who offers to implement